So what are the most common questions we get asked as mortgage brokers from first-time buyers? Questions vary from, can I use crypto as a deposit? How much deposit do I need? How much can I borrow? How much is stamp duty? And that's just a few questions. In this video, I'm going to break down the questions that I get asked the most from first-time buyers, and hopefully these can answer any questions that you've got yourself if you're looking at buying your first home. My name's Anthony from Bulk Mortgages, and if you want to find out more details about the house buying process, don't forget to press like and subscribe to stay tuned for all mortgage market updates. Question 1 is, can I use cryptocurrency as a deposit when I'm looking at buying a house? So the simple answer is yes. However, with crypto being a relatively new thing and unregulated, some lenders can still have an issue in regards to the source of funds coming from the cryptocurrency space. However, there are lenders out there that are a bit more lenient and realise that this could potentially be the future of an up and coming market. So as long as you can prove where the funds have come from in regards to money going on from your fiat to your crypto exchanges, any transactions within wallets, and also money being withdrawn again for cash, as long as you can prove this and you've got transaction lists to show where the funds have come from, a lot of lenders are still absolutely fine if you use a deposit coming from a crypto source. Another question we get asked is, I've only been in my job for less than 3 months, can I still get a mortgage? So this again massively depends on the lender. However, there are lenders out there that can be a lot more lenient than others. Some lenders want to make sure you've been in the job for at least 6 months and you've got employment history to also back up the last year's worth of employment. But if you have been out of work for a bit and you're just applying for a new job now, you can potentially get yourself a mortgage based on a letter from your employer detailing your start date, your salary, and the terms of your employment. The lender may also contact that particular employer, and as long as the start date is within the next 3 months, there are lenders that can potentially help you out. So a question we also get asked is, what is a first-time buyer? If you're on the deeds to the property in any country, bad news for you, you are technically no longer classed as a first-time buyer. And with you no longer being a first-time buyer, unfortunately you no longer qualify for your first-time buyer rights in regards to potential discounts on stamp duty, and also in regards to some rates that other lenders wouldn't offer unless you are that first-time buyer status. But there are some lenders that, as long as you've not owned the property in the last 3 years, they will still potentially assess you as the first-time buyer. However, the government, when they're calculating your stamp duty, will still class you as not a first-time buyer if you ever have owned the property in the past. A big question which decides what kind of property you can stay in and how your quality of life is going to be is, how much can I borrow when I'm looking at buying my first home? Generally speaking, the rule of thumb for a lot of lenders is that you can borrow 4.5 times your annual salary, but there are so many different variances on this depending on which lender that you speak to. So although they will do 4.5 times your annual salary, if you've got dependents or if you had any outgoings such as financial commitments, credit cards, loans, car hire, they may reduce the amount that you can borrow because it's all based on an affordability model. But if you're speaking to the correct lender, and depending on how much of a deposit that you've got, if you earn a higher income and you've got a bigger deposit, you can potentially get a higher income multiple, more towards the 5.5 times your salary compared to 4.5. There's also a scheme if you're a first-time buyer that can potentially help you increase your budget, known as a joint borrower sole proprietor mortgage. And to overly simplify this, it is ultimately having a guarantor. So if you're on the mortgage application with a partner, you and your partner would still have your name down on the title deeds. They would assess your income for affordability, but when you add a parent onto that, they will use their income and their outgoings to potentially increase the amount you can borrow without actually adding them onto the title deeds, which means you still qualify as a first-time buyer, even if a first-time buyer is not on the mortgage with you. So in this video, we've broken down 4 of the biggest questions that first-time buyers ask when they're looking at buying a property. There is one more, however, and if you watch this video after this, we're going to break down exactly how much it costs for you to be able to buy a property.